when you look at that kind of progress that we've made within a short time, right? It just tells you that look, there's still hope, right? In the Nigerian himself, like Nigerians will work hard to make things work for themselves,
Mhm.
right? Regardless of all of the situation. I say this that sometimes living in London, like when you watch the news or you speak to people, and then the kind of things people complain about, you're wondering, oh, they didn't come to pack my rubbish, and then everybody's like, God,
I always say this,
yeah,
the disparity between what people here complain about
yeah,
compared to the issues in Nigeria.
yeah,
Because even during 2022, I'm not saying the inflation here wasn't bad, and it was bad, and people had a right to complain. But you just compare it to what goes on in
yeah,
Nigeria, and it's like night and day.
yeah.
Like, people complain about what was it? What was the peak inflation? I can't remember the figures. But
It got to 34%, and then
yeah,
here inflation is just 2.8% now, and then everybody's like,
wow.
yeah. I mean, although
Mm.
again, you can argue that economics too has to deal with what happens within your environment as
Yeah,
well.
it's all
Like
relative,
how,
really.
it's very very relative. How did you grow up? I remember just a few days ago, I was speaking to my neighbor, and he said he used to buy chicken and chips at for just £1 some years ago, or £2 thereabout, and now it's, I don't know, £4 or £5. Yeah. So, but I think the point I was trying to make, and which you touched on, is that Nigerians are resilient. Um, they will always try to make things work, even in a very tough environment. And that spirit is what keeps Nigerians going, and it makes them excel when they leave Nigeria, and excel exceedingly well. So when they move to other countries, right? Yeah, if you're a Nigerian and you come second, you know,
You're
you know how
ashamed to
it
your
is. Like,
parents.
you're ashamed to show it to your parents, because your parents think, look,
What?
I left that country, I came here to work hard, and then you come home and you're second in your class, or you got 80%.
And they'll tell you how
Really?
they got 100% in
Yeah,
everything they
yeah.
did.
And then they'll tell you, like, look, the person that got 99% has
Yeah.
just one head like you. So how come so that instills in you that spirit of, I would say, excellence, or wanting to do things in the best possible way.
Yeah.
And so that's not something you can wish away, for a country, no matter how bad or how, downtrodden things are in the country, inflation, unemployment, and co. Right. So you finish a job, you finish your education. The next thing you're thinking of is, how do I start a business? And then you start a business. The next thing you're thinking of is, how do I expand? So you have those kinds of you have that kind of spirit, the Nigerian spirit that is always in. But I then would say that if only if things were better, or made better by the government, if we had, and I don't think Nigerians are asking for too much, good roads, electricity, and all of that. Trust me, that potential we're talking of, right? You would see Nigerians dominating almost every sectors of the economy, or African economy, global economy. I think Nigerians would do well. I'm not saying this because I'm Nigerian, but because
But we've had conversations. Even Sir Paul Collier, he was saying that Nigerians do exceptionally well in the US, in the
Yeah.
UK. It's just
Yeah.
the environment in Nigeria is just
Yeah.
not conducive to success.
yeah,
Anything will ruin. Because if you try and set up a business in Nigeria, you are fighting a beast.
yeah,
And
yeah, and you can't deny that reality, no matter how you want to sugarcoat it, and say, let's not say this, but it's just the reality. And sometimes for us that have lived here, and back, and you go back in Nigeria, sometimes it's frustrating, it's painful, but at the same time, you just keep trying and keep advocating, engaging at different levels, just to see that hopefully things will work, at least in my generation, just to see, because some progress has been made. The other day I was at Stratford, Then we walked into the Burna Boy show
Oh.
at the London Stadium in West Ham, right? I think that's a 60,000 capacity stadium, and it was filled to the brim. And I saw people of all races going in there to watch Burna Boy. I've said this many times in different platforms. That was one of the first days, like one of the few days that I was so proud being a Nigerian, because I was like one Nigerian man commanding this crowd, and people are paying to hear him sing. And so they've moved from places like the O2 to now covering stadiums, and then the crowd is there. So just imagine if if these people can have the right enabling environment, right? I mean, the potential would be huge.